In this post-sentencing hearing, I covered the D23 panel and what it had entailed, but there was something very revealing about other people's impressions of the CEO of Disney, Bob Chapek. Ever since he stepped in as CEO, people have had somewhat of a diversity of impressions when it came to Bob Chapek. I want to quickly talk about how Bob Chapek got booed in D23 on the first frickin' day. Man, I don't even know how seriously I'm gonna be taking this because it happened out of nowhere. Bob Chapek was walking on the stage and then all of a sudden everyone abruptly booed at him. I don't know what other word to use when it comes to this news. Before I get started, going further into this topic, I'm going to play the clip right here. Take a listen.
Well, thank you so much. And let's give another big round of applause to the Disney on Broadway cast of Lion King, Aladdin, and Frozen.
Now that you've just heard the clip, I'm just going to give you somewhat of a debrief in case you don't know who Bob Chapek is. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know who Bob Chapek was, because it's first instinct to automatically believe that Mickey Mouse is a real mouse who manages all of the corporate affairs of Disney. Anyways, Bob Chapek is, as I've already mentioned, the CEO of Disney. Bob Chapek has apparently been the subject of a lot of corporate turmoil and drama over at the House of Mouse, an HBO series and a prequel to the Song of Disney and Backlash Fire, The House of Mouse, a parody of The House of Dragon. All of the pent-up anger, angry tweets, angry boycotts have culminated to what had occurred in D23. Everyone, well, almost everyone, booed at him. But let's be real. I haven't seen a single person in the video who hadn't booed him. Bob Chapek isn't exactly known for his popular decision making. When Scarlett Johansson, who plays the Black Widow character in MCU, filed a lawsuit against Disney over contract disputes, Bob Chapek's handling of Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit had been described as an utter failure. Bob Chapek himself had been responsible for the decision to put Black Widow on Disney Plus streaming and granted a theatrical release on the very same day. As for me personally, I don't think it was a bad move because you have to take into account we lived and are still living in unprecedented times plaguing the cinema industry. We are, as of this recording, still living in a pandemic. That being said, as COVID-19 had been the most rampant, people were either restricted or reluctant to go to a movie theater. What else was Disney supposed to do? Flush movie down the toilet? Bob Chapek, as the head and top CEO, was most certainly not going to be content with having small market share. And that's because most of their customer base, according to credible statistics, okay, I'm not just pulling it out of my ass, viewed television and movies on streaming platforms. So, I mean, Bob Chapek had to make the tough call and leaving Black Widow on the Disney Plus streaming service, where it's guaranteed to get clicks from the people sitting on their couches in their homes. But then again, here is where I'm not that much of a fan of Bob Chapek. We just learned a few days after the release of the new Thor movie that Bob Chapek was the mastermind behind the runtime mandate for, no pun intended, Love and Thunder theatrical release in an effort to increase the amount of showtime. Now, come on. That's a scumbag move. Don't tell me otherwise. It kind of limited the content that we've been viewing, and it gave us a somewhat of a misleading impression of Taika Waititi's vision of For Love and Thunder had it been a bit longer. I would definitely say that For Love and Thunder suffered because of that move, and as it should go without saying, the principle here is as follows. Unsuccessful movies upset people, including the wide fan base. An extra few minutes might have gone a long way for Love and Thunder. So I mean, yeah, obviously there would have to be a fair amount of people from the MCU fan base who are in opposition to this runtime mandate that Bob Chapek has imposed, because it might have hindered the quality and pacing of the film. It should be of no surprise, now that many of them have serious quarrels with Bob Chapek, that they would boo him on stage. And these quarrels were definitely explicit on that stage in D23 when Bob Chapek got booed when he approached it. As for what I think about the booing incident myself, I think that it is nothing more than an immature attempt to be heard in a way distasteful. Now, I'm not entirely against it, nor will I criticize people for expressing themselves in a way that they see fit, as long as they don't throw pigeons, dead pigeons, at Mr. Bob Chapek. Then it's okay by me if you want to boo him. Go right ahead. And that's because throwing dead pigeons is reserved for me, really, and me alone. So if anyone takes the liberty to toss aside a dead pigeon, then I will absolutely rage. I will go apeshit. In all seriousness, you might not want to hear this from me, but guys, I really don't care about Bob Chapek being booed, nor do I make it my life mission to care. The reason that I'm not even talking about this to begin with is because there is substantial history and context that illustrate the bigger picture of why Bob Chapek is being despised, which makes that in itself newsworthy to share. And it could have some real repercussions with the leadership hierarchy over at Disney. What do you guys think about this news? Do you think Bob Chapek, despite his poor track record of making decisions, which is hated by the vast majority, do you think he deserved having boos expressed to him on stage? Do you think it was just flat out disrespectful? Do you endorse Bob Chapek in general? Let me know in the comment section below what you think about Mr. Bob Chapek.